What's going on, guys? It's Nick again. Cherokee, you know, it's not Cherokeeing, you know. I got a system clearance, I believe, on the bottom. The crankshaft's got a little knot going on around in the higher RPMs. I don't have oil pressure all the time. Thought about tearing it out and rebuilding it. Thomas almost had me convinced to rebuild it. I just went ahead and, against my wife's best wishes, bought a new one. Just bought a remanufactured one. Don't want to have to work on it anymore. Don't want to have to worry about it. Just want a nice, reliable engine. One and done, buy once, cry once. That's what Thomas always says. That's what I'm doing. I thought I'd film me tearing it out, putting it in. Got me a little GoPro on a tripod. Try to, like I said, film myself tear it out. Done it before. It shouldn't be too complicated. There's maybe like one specialty socket you need for this whole project. Most of it's just basic common tools. But get this new engine out the box and show it, and then we can talk about it, and maybe I'll start tearing this thing apart and getting into it. Thanks, guys. Alright, so here's the new one in this nice fancy case. The engine actually weighs 515 pounds. I didn't realize that. I know they're heavy, but I didn't know it was 515 pounds. Nice and purty. This one came with a timing cover, and I got an oil pan, so there's that. Don't mind my mess of a garage. We'll get this GoPro going. Try to work smarter than harder. Get the headlights out, grill, header panel, batteries, cryo intake, fuse box, whatever it is. Drain the oil, coolant, get the compressor or radiator out. Hopefully the front will be open and I can start tearing into this stuff without having to try to dig down into it. And we will go from there and we'll see what we can figure out together. Okay, guys, here we go. Got this GoPro moved over here. It kind of gives me a better angle of it, maybe, you know, a little bit, you know, yeah, whatever. All right, so first things first, drain the oil. While the oil's draining, I'm going to take both batteries out, my main and secondary battery over there. You guys are wondering how I have the dual batteries. If you actually watch our videos and you'd like to know, ask me in the comments. You know, that's a thing. If I have enough people, I can explain my dual battery setup. Isolator, and I got another wire, comes over here. This is my dual battery, so everything extra, all the lights and fridges and all that stuff is wired to this. So these two 4-gauge wires right here, they go into the cab, fused and into the cab, and in the back I have another fuse panel. That tailgate light, my fridge, and all the charging and stuff is all wired to that instead. If there's enough people interested, I'll explain how I did that, I guess. And I'm probably doing it wrong, but you know, it's been working for me. It's been about a year. But first we'll get this oil drained, probably get those batteries taken out, and then I will come back and tell you guys how it went. All right, so I got both batteries out, got the oil drain, oil filter off. So now I'm gonna start working on it. Probably take these headlight bezels out. They cracked before. I kind of repaired them, so hopefully they don't break again. I get these out, blinkers out, so I can take the actual header panel off, see what we're working with, try to get some coolant out. Get these headlights out. That's these two. There's two Phillips screws, 1, 2, just tabs on the bottom. So after you take these two screws out, it just leans forward and comes right up. All right, so once you get those two screws out, this just leans forward and then just kind of wiggles out around that blinker, and it just comes straight up. I'll have to take this blinker out. There's one of the header bolts, kind of hard to see back there. That one holds the bottom on, and the rest are all from up top here. Get that blinker off, show you what I'm working with. All right, now after you get those two bolts out, this just comes out. These just turn counterclockwise. And there's your blinker. So there's that header bolts right there. Should be, I believe, a 10mm. Then you just have these 10mm here on the back side of the header panel all the way down, and it should just come right off. So you got the 110 at both corners, and then there is a total of 6 10s studs. That's what I took off. I took the studs off instead of this plate. All it is for that holds the actual header panel on. There is one like major harness plug for the whole header panel, and then you can actually leave like everything else that's on the header panel, like the headlights and the blinker wires. Well, it can all stay. You just need to unplug that one harness. All right, so there's the main harness plug. So that'll be your whole grill panel. If you have fog lights, there is the fog light wires you'll need to unplug. This is wired to my fog light, so I had to unplug this. All right, got the header panel off. I got it sitting over there with my engine. So this is that plug. So you guys, it's actually plugged into the body here. But now, because I'm trying to not work as hard, I am going to take this core support off. So I got to get fan shroud out, this electric fan out the way. 2 AC lines right here. It's hard to see them. There's one there, and the other one is actually, it's kind of up here. Then the condenser can come out. Then after the condenser comes out, you should be able to get the radiator out, drain the coolant. Radiator hose off, get this transmission cooler line out of the way, and that should be all that's keeping that in. So we'll do that. I got you guys watching me over there, so I'll bounce back and forth videos, and we'll see how good I can make this video work. All right, so got these 4 bolts off, got my fan shroud out, my electric fan out, got this actual core support off, so now I can actually take the radiator out. I still need to disconnect the hoses and lines, but I was gonna go ahead and get this AC condenser out. I've already drained the system, hopefully put some of it back in. I might just change it, it's only about a year old. But because of that, I'm gonna take these, there's one clip right there, and then the other one is actually kind of like up in here. It's right under this, but I will take those 2 off, and those are these 2 lines right here. You need to take this bolt and this bolt off and this one, and I believe the brackets will come off, and then I can take the condenser out. That's what it is.
Can you stop?
That's going in it. All right, so after you get the lines off, the radiator sits through the tabs, so I kind of picked the radiator up, pulled the bad boy out, and that's all she wrote. I just did that because you're here. Are you want to tell him what I did?
He made it rain.
Uh-huh.
Smells like stuff. Nasty, nasty stuff.
Uh-huh.
You took the radiator?
There you go. She's gone. No radiator. It's over there in the pile of stuff. I did the 2 transmission lines. The coolant hose. I poisoned the floor. Soiled it. Now I need to take this radiator fan off. Then the belt, the pulley, the power steering pump, AC compressor, the alternator bracket.
That's why you can't remember stuff.
These 2 lines. That's the fuel, the intake, that hose, the thingy, and this. And motor mounts, transmission mounts, exhaust intake. And then it's ready to go. Me either. Alright, so I got the radiator fan off. I kind of did this because a tad bit more room, so when I unhook the transmission, I'll be able to I can just clear this and then come forward at least to the bumper and then come out the rest of the way instead of trying to like come straight up, clear everything, and get it out. Since I'm in a garage, you know, I don't have a ton of room in front of me, so I'm kind of just trying to work with what I got. This is how I put it in. When I put this engine, when I actually went through this Jeep and built it, I put it in with no front on, so I just wanted to take it back off the same way. So next I will go ahead and Loosen this pulley bolt. Loosen this to take the tension off the belt. Take the belt off. Pulley off, the power steering pump off. AC compressor off, get this line off. I actually put the Dodge Durango alternator in, so that way it'll charge more for those dual batteries that I have. So I actually had to modify this alternator bracket to fit the bigger alternator, so I have to see if that's gonna give me any trouble taking off. Be it for as much as the front. Take these hoses off also. That'll be it for the front. And then everything else will be, you know, intake, exhaust, corral intake, the fuse, all the wiring, transmission, motor mounts. Hopefully then we'll be ready. Everything's off, but now I can kind of get in here a little easier, see what I'm working with. You know, what's crazy is I've been looking for this for years, and it's been sitting right there. Now I could be cheap and not buy one. I've just been driving without one. Man, it's like Christmas. And now my wife's here to make it awkward again. All changed, dressed up.
I thought you were on the phone.
No, I'm filming. Now I'll take this intake out. And then that ARC stuff, and then it's okay, bye. You want to tell them what I did?
Took more stuff off. The end.
Yeah, but it's specific things.
Things on the right side, things behind it.
Ooh, not behind it yet. Not there yet. Working my way front to back.
No, that thing. What's that?
That's the power steering pump.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, thanks. You know, that was in the last update though. I took the corral intake off. See, there's my big old hole right there I cut. You know, you just gotta do it. You just gotta with the little Sawzall zip wheel thing. Then I took my RC circuit breaker switch panel off. Went ahead and took the throttle, cruise control, and shifter cable plate off. I think next I'm gonna take this cold pack out, unplug everything on this side, and then attack the thing I've been trying to avoid, which is the intake, exhaust, fuel rails. How was that cake?
Delicious.
Alright, so I got this cold pack off. Unplug this guy, unplug this guy, unplug this guy, unplug this harness, undo the starter right there, and this side will be ready to go. And I'm going to get this harness off, fuel injectors unplugged, fuel line off, vacuum lines off, unbolt intake, exhaust, set it out of the way, and then I should be done up top. Should be done. Should be done. Okay, I got everything on this side unplugged, unhooked, unbolted. Everything this side. I got all the wires pulled up, the harness pulled out, vacuum lines off, pulled out the way, the fuel line off. So now I'm going to start taking the intake and exhaust bolts out, try to take the intake out in the car, and then just let the exhaust kind of hang. I'll probably hang it up with a strap. This fuel line, there was a bolt right here on the intake where the fuel line was, so I took that out to give me a little more wiggle room here. And I honestly think that's going to be it for tonight. Then all I got to do is the actual motor mounts, transmission mounts, and I think she'll be ready to come out. It's going a lot quicker than I thought. She's not doing anything, she's watching her phone. And now she's laughing obnoxiously. Alright, got a lot of stuff done. Got the intake off, got the exhaust off the engine. So now, at this stage of its life, motor mounts, and then torque converter bolts, and actually transmission bolts, ready to come out. Went a lot quicker than I thought. Really expecting to take a couple week project actually, because I just don't have the time like I used to work on stuff. Kind of just flew right through this. I think I might have been out here just a little over 2 hours right now to get the engine to this point. Everything up here is, to the best of my knowledge, unhooked and ready to go, minus the engine mounts torque converter bolts, transmission bolt. She's ready to come on out of there, and then I will start swapping things over from old to new. I already got all new parts like water pump, thermostat housing, temperature sensor, starter, alternator. That power steering pump is like 7 months old, so I'm just gonna not change it because I don't feel like it. AC compressor is also same time frame. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and call it a night. It is Monday, so I have to work tomorrow. Thanks for watching the video so far, and we'll hopefully have it out tomorrow. Same video. Watch my hand go on and off the lens, and it'll be tomorrow. All right. All right, it's the next day. It's actually sunlight out. Just got home from work. I'm gonna get started on this. I left off last night. All I have left is transmission, torque converter bolts, motor mounts, and it should be ready to come on out of there. I believe that's all that's holding it in. We'll double check. Alrighty, I got torque converter bolts, the 2 lower transmission bolts. Got to get those 2 pain in the butt upper ones. Should come out of there, and I'll hope with no problems. You know, I'll just hope. Fingers crossed. You know, get those taken out. Get the engine bolts unmounted. Put a jack underneath transmission to hold the transmission up so it doesn't fall and just rip everything out. Well, I will come back after I get the transmission bolts out, the motor mount bolts out, and getting ready to actually pull the thing out. I'll come back to that point, and we'll see what happens. All right, so kind of done a little more than in between I have been. So got the bolts out, motor mount bolts out, got a jack holding the transmission up down there. I got hoist on the engine. I'm gonna put tension on it as I take out the last bolt, the transmission. I just don't want it. Typically, because this engine's so long, once it's not hooked up, this wants to fall forward. And I don't want it to fall forward, so I went ahead and put the engine hoist on it just to make sure it doesn't fall forward, or if it does, not terribly too much. And then the jack will keep the transmission from falling down. I'm gonna try to finagle my way out from around this exhaust, the actual engine mount. I'll get the other GoPro on so I have that angle, and we'll see what happens as I start yanking on it and see if I missed anything. I don't think I did, but you know, we'll see. All right, so it is out. It's on the floor. There's the hole of which it was in. Definitely 100%. It's not worth the headache to keep these in the car. It just wasn't. It just ended up being way more work than it needed to be to get that out. So I'm gonna start swapping everything over to that engine, and then get that engine ready to, if you want to call it slide in there, you know. But halfway there. All right, so with the engine on the ground, I'm gonna just kind of set it in the corner because I'm strapped for space. So I'm gonna take the crank pulley off, take that bolt off, and I have an actual bearing pulley to pull that off. I'll take out both motor mounts and the flywheel while it's hanging. All right, got the new engine kind of ready to go. Got my crank pulley over, water pump. Got the alternator because, like I said earlier, I got a bigger alternator, so that bracket's kind of a pain. So it's just taking advantage of doing it outside the vehicle instead of doing it in. Got both my mounts over. Got my shield, flywheel over, oil filter adapter, some studs, some grounding studs, crank position sensor. I need to pick up a bolt or two, just because I don't want to put these Star E10 bolts back in. I'm just gonna go with regular bolts, so next time I don't have to fight with them that much. But it should be ready to go. Since I've added a lot of things, I'm gonna take advantage of having the engine out to actually clean them up and put them in the way I'd like to. So I'm gonna take care of that. Got the old engine here, just kind of stripped, ready to go and be rebuilt and be someone else's engine. All right, guys, that is gonna be it for tonight. I will probably be back out here tomorrow. If not, it'll just be like a split second for the video, you know. All right, what's going on? Took a day off yesterday, didn't really do much. I took the headers off because I did not want to fight getting those back in. So I'd rather do them here because I could torque them and do them in sequence and all that fancy loser stuff. But I got the water pump, thermostat housing, crank pulley, the alternator, the motor mounts, flywheel, dust cover, dipstick, all this stuff transferred from the old one. The old one just looks like a nasty, ugly, dirty engine. I miss you. You know, you did good. You didn't last long, but you did good. It's good. Now I got this one. Cleaned up my engine harness, and then like my dual battery setup. I kind of don't look like it, but I kind of like reran a lot of wiring, and it's not as jumbled together anymore. So when I actually have the engine in here, it should lay pretty good. Had some rust under my battery tray, so I went ahead and sanded all the rust gone, kind of treated it, and then just primed it. Got this GoPro here now. You know, it was over there in that mess of junk in my trash garage, looking this way. But I figured this might look cooler because you'd be looking from here, and maybe it'll look cooler with the engine going in. Go ahead and get the chain moved on the head bolts. I have the same thread count that goes on these, and then I just kind of attach the chain to the top of the head bolts. And it's been working for me, you know, that's how I've done it in the past, so we'll do it again. So you probably tune over to this camera now, watch me put it in, and hope it goes in and I don't die. Okie dokie. Okay, it's in. I did it. I had my niece help me. Say hi, Emily.
Hello.
And now it's in there, and now I just gotta hook it all back up and make it beautiful again, you know. Wish me luck. Okay, bye. All right, so my niece is helping me now. There she is. I'm filming. So she put the power steering pump on. She's doing my corral intake. She did my RC fuse box, some throttle cables, and I'm kind of fiddling over here. Yep, that sounds professional enough, right?
So professional.
Okay, bye. Bye. So, all right, so I got a lot's happened. Put the AC bracket back on, the fan clutch on, the fan, AC lines, water pump pulley. I don't know if that was on last. Got the belt put back on, radiator hoses. Got the starter oil back in there. I don't know if the corral intake was on last. I'm about to hook up this radiator. Got my transmission coolant lines ready to go in. And then attach radiator hose. Fill this up. I'm gonna fill it up from here because it takes forever to fill it up from here. So I'm gonna like fill it up with the hose right here and then hook it up. I think that's it. I have just a few things left on my whiteboard of don't forget. Battery tray horns, the radiator hose, the radiator. Need to fix some wiring that I had to cut. The grill, put the batteries in, the belt's already on. Top it off with oil, coolant, check the transmission, vacuum it, put Freon in it, and I think I'm ready to try it and see if it runs. All right, so I got the radiator back in, condenser back in, radiator hoses, basically this front end. About to put fluids in it. I think I'm ready to put the batteries in and give it a trial. So before I put the cold packs in, I'm going to turn it over a few times without the spark. That way I can try to prime the oil a little bit. All right, so it should be everything. Kind of put it all back together like I took it apart. Got my starter battery, the house battery, coolant topped off. Everything I believe is done. I don't have the coils hooked up, that way I can try to prime a little bit, get some oil going through it before I try to fire it, actually spin it over a few times. But I don't have the grill back on yet because neither of my horns work because they were filled with water for some time, so they don't work. So I have some coming. The horns are right here. It just seems really easy for me to change them now. So they'll be here tomorrow, so I can put them in and I'll button up the grill tomorrow, but I can at least fire it as of right now and see if it runs. And then I gotta vacuum the AC down and put some Freon back in it. I'm gonna spin over a few times. Hopefully it works, hopefully it doesn't explode, and then I will plug in that coil pack and then actually fire it, listen to it, and if it all works, I'm gonna just cry. I'll just cry and be happy, you know? That's it. So wish me luck. Here we go. Also, one more thing. I haven't hooked the actual exhaust back up to the manifold. These nuts have seen better days, so I don't feel like putting them back in. I have to fight with them again in the future, so I'm just going to replace them while it's out. So they're touching, it's just not bolted together, so it might be loud when it actually does fire off. It shouldn't be too loud for turning over, but it might be loud once it fires up. All right, so got it dry started, built some oil pressure. I hooked the coil pack back up. We're going to fire it, see how loud and horrible it sounds, and see how good it is. Sorry I had to walk away for a little bit. It's nighttime again. Got it fired up. It's loud as all get out because it's just open headers right now. So I went and obtained some new exhaust bolts. Thomas actually had them, so I just had to pick them up from him. I'm gonna get that bolted in. That actually should be ready to actually fire up and let idle. And then so after I get those bolts hooked up, I will go back to that GoPro, fire it up, let it run, let it idle. Fingers crossed that it doesn't blow up, knock, or do anything bad. We'll see what happens. All right, I think I got the exhaust bolts tight enough. That should be everything. I should be ready to start it. If I want to move it, I can move it on my own power now. Everything should be good to go, minus, you know, the horns and the headlights, which I'll tackle that tomorrow. So I'm gonna get this GoPro turned on. We will see the fate of the remanned engine. Okay, wish me luck. I'll record it from here also. All right, here we go. So that's still a pretty bad exhaust leak. So let me try to tighten those exhaust bolts up just a few more and see how that goes. All right, I think I got it done. Got the exhaust tightened back up. Got some things together. Got a vacuum gauge trying to play around that timing to get it just perfect, but I think she's good to go. Let's see if it hates me or if it likes me. No. Sorry, I had my foot on the gas. Scared me. It sounds so beautiful. No ticks, no knocks, no weird sounds. Just sounds like a pretty beautiful engine. I let it idle yesterday or earlier and let it get up to operating temp. I need to put the electric fan back in, get my dual battery back in there because I had to play around with this exhaust. I took all this stuff out so the power steering come back off so I can get down there. But I think that's it. I got the new horns hooked in today also. They came in. I went to vacuum down my AC, put my gauges on it, went to vacuum it down. I had a bad leak. So I found like a hole in the condenser here. So I got one that will be here tomorrow from the parts store. I'll go pick it up, get that swapped over, and vacuum it down again. I hope that fixes that. Put Freon in it and then I'll be done. So I'll tune in tomorrow when I get this condenser put in or swapped before I start putting the headlights back on, just to give an update. All right. Look, Thomas is here to work on my Jeep. My wife's over there. She's mad at me. That's Emily. No one cares about Emily. And there's my kids. But Thomas is looking at the codes. I got some intermittent cam sensor, so it has something to do with the timing. So we'll see what happens. Maybe he'll fix it. So we're going to take it for a test drive. No front end. See how it is. There's Thomas. Okay, well, here we go. You know, this will be it. This will be the test drive.
I think you rode with me when I test drove mine after you replaced the engine. I'm sure you did. Engine and transmission.
Well, hopefully it doesn't blow up. You know? I need to check a bunch of other things. I don't know if you hear all that creaking and popping.
Get ready to, you know, if it has any issues, you know, we'll scan it over there.
Alright, well, I'm gonna chalk the driving engine part up as a win, I guess. Now I just gotta fix AC, and then I put the front end back together, and then I'll be done, and then my video will be over. Alright, got the new condenser in, got it hooked up, put a vacuum on it. I had my gauges hooked up. I went ahead and charged it. AC's working just as it was before. It's not perfect, but it's colder than outside. You know, it's like 55 degrees, and I can live with that. So I need to get the grill mounted back in, bolt everything back up, close the hood, cry a little bit, and call this job complete for now. And I'll set the tripod up and actually film it, but I'll get the grill put back on, close it, start the hood, call it good, be happy, and see how it goes. Be right back. So that's my version of taking out Jeep Cherokee engine, putting a new one in, or my journey of doing it. It's pretty much good. There's a few little things I need to do, like interior-wise, before we actually start going camping, but for the most part, it's in there, and I'm gonna call it a win for now. Hopefully it doesn't blow up. We'll see how the future goes, but thanks for watching if you watched. If not, I'm sorry I lost you. Thanks for tuning in. And stay tuned for some camping videos, because those will come soon. Thanks.